This week's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine is the 5th episode of Season 2. It is titled Cardassians. When a young Cardassian boy named Rugal shows up on the station with his adoptive Bajoran father, Dr. Bashir and Garak investigate his origins, suspecting that he may be a war orphan left behind during the end of the Cardassian occupation of Bajor. We have our full ops crew available for this episode, which is fortunate because it is a Cardassian-heavy episode, which of course means Jay Hitman will be providing his unique take on Bajoran Cardassian history. And we also have a guest joining us for the first time. The Oustanding Vet, Drew, joins us for his first foray into Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And it's quite an episode because he, also gets to enjoy Jay Hitman's unique style of remembering things. Before starting the episode, though, please like, subscribe, share this channel, and as always, watch good Star Trek.
My God, they're going into the wormhole at full impulse.
We are back this week for the 5th episode of Season 2, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Wormhole Watch, and this week, we actually have a guest. We've been talking about this for a bit, but we actually have a guest. Ensign the Outstanding Vet. And you start as an ensign because it's your first tour, but please, take this time to introduce yourself to anyone who may be watching.
Yep, Drew, the Outstanding Vet here. Drew Outstanding here to learn and add in whatever I know about Star Trek, which isn't much. I'm more of a Star Wars superhero, then Star Wars, and then now I'm dabbling more into Star Trek. So
now, Drew, you're aware, of course, based on what you may have learned, that the Cardassians are a race that some of us think are not good.
All three of them, mind you. Everyone on this panel but me.
Hey, I have expressed waiting to see the full picture to make judgment. Okay.
So Drew, do you have any opinions on Cardassians, Bajorans, based on what you've learned so far before we get started?
Based on what I learned so far, are the Cardassians more towards like the state? They're more state run, enjoyed. Is that right?
I guess the word is fascist.
Okay.
Whoa.
Hang on, let's define that word.
Fascist. That just went 0 to 10. Whoa.
You can't just hand out labels like that. Come on.
Yeah. Hold on. Hashtag
I'm sorry for accuracy.
Their home world doesn't have a lot of resources, so they're going out to other locations.
All they got is Gamak sauce.
Oh, that's right, the Yamak sauce.
The Yamak sauce. Actually, this episode is going to be really interesting, and you may get a good opinion because it's titled Cardassians.
This is my favorite episode that I've not watched. I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay. We haven't seen Garak in like an entire season.
I know. We haven't seen Garak in a few. I don't remember the last time we saw Garak.
It's been like 20 episodes since we saw Garak.
But I couldn't help noticing what a handsome young man you have here.
He has rabies.
Wait. You just said that Cardassian child is rabies?
Well, you don't let me finish. Yes, he has rabies, but he's probably dressed up as a Bajoran.
But that's not how rabies work.
Yeah. It is. He's Bajoran. Therefore, he has rabies, and he's dressed up as a Cardassian.
As a Cardassian, yeah.
But
what's weird is I knew where he was going with that.
You don't get rabies from clothing.
No, you don't. You get rabies from being Bajoran.
Oh.
So you're saying he's Bajoran cosplaying as a Cardassian?
Yes, they're disease-ridden, repugnant.
I know.
Filthy.
I know you
people.
You're
you
building
learned some
army.
new words last night. Yes.
I did. I'm so excited. Repugnant.
Drew, do you regret being here yet?
Not yet.
It was a little creepy the way Garak walked up on him, though.
That was awful. That was some stranger danger levels of.
There's a question I have. Like, is it normal to put their hand on another person like that?
No.
There was definitely
weird.
like Chris Hansen should be jumping out somewhere at this point.
Would you like to have a seat?
Take a seat. Have a seat.
Drew, you've seen Dirty Harry, correct? The original Dirty Harry?
Dirty Harry, yeah.
Yeah. Scorpio Killer in that? That's the actor playing
Okay.
Oh, no freaking way.
And the dad from Hellraiser. And the dad from Hellraiser.
Boy was probably one of the orphans left behind when the Cardassians pulled out. We had no choice but to take care of them.
That's why.
What?
Why what?
Nothing.
No, you said something.
We just learned. We just learned that Cardassians abandoned children. I mean, Jesus.
No.
Yeah, and
the Bajorans
took them in.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not what happened.
Sympathy and goodwill to their
They
enemies.
They are kidnappers and they indoctrinate.
I was about to say, is this a Sound of Freedom type thing?
Nope. Indoctrination.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't pass the Bajorans to do that.
See, hey man, maybe you have Drew on your side already.
I knew I liked you. Ever since I saw the beard, I was like, this guy. No, remember a couple episodes ago when I told you that Bajorans are nothing but no good indoctrination. They indoctrinate. This is an example. They kidnapped this kid and they indoctrinated him to hate Cardassians. So he probably doesn't even know he's a Cardassian. But he sees a Cardassian as like food. Hungry, eat.
Wait.
This is some interesting leaps of logic.
Cardassians now? What?
I don't know. Somebody puts their hand on my shoulder like that. Like I got crazy nerve pain and stuff. People have done it before, and I almost threw them over my shoulder. I didn't get to the quite of biting their hand, but no.
Hitman said they're eating them.
Well, they do eat giant spiders. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, that is true.
That's disgusting and all that. But
no, Kira saw the spider and she was like, hungry. Snack time. Nom noms. Not my opinion. It happened on the show, not my opinion.
There's no eating of Cardassians.
They eat spiders. Like
that's
Chewbacca's level. Yes, they're disgusting. Yes. Not the spiders, the Bajorans. What's your argument?
They're not eating Cardassians. That's my argument.
Well, hey,
listen.
Crazy things happen in war, right?
Compared to eating a Paloku, a Cardassian probably looks delicious.
This is just so you know. This is where I thought this was going to go.
Listen, if you spent your whole life eating Palokus and you saw a Cardassian, you probably want to eat it too.
No.
Yes. How would you know?
The train of thought that goes through your head, sir, is amazing. Yours.
Mine.
Can we go back to the episode? It's 5 minutes in. What the hell?
Cardassian war orphans, Commander. Abandoned when we left Bajor.
Wait.
From the horse's mouth.
He just said abandoned. You're a hero. You're a titan of a man. Golden Cot said abandoned.
All right. Who is this guy then right now?
Oh, okay. So this is Golden Cot. He was the one who ran the occupation of Bajor for Cardassia.
We told him the truth, Commander. The truth about what Cardassia did to Bajor.
From a certain point of view.
To us.
I was thinking the same thing.
I just want to point out, Drew, I'll just point out that if Bajorans ever needed a job, they could work at Olive Garden grading the cheese.
I mean, their noses are perfect for it, right?
They could probably make cheese out of those nose. I mean, my goodness, look at it. Terrible. Like, how do they kiss? Like, you get cut up with that thing. It's like worse than the iceberg that sunk the Titanic.
Wait. Are you headbutting when you're kissing? What are you, a Klingon?
Do you not see the sharp edges on the bridge of his nose?
But if I'm going into a Bajoran woman, I'm not going to headbutt her first and then go.
You don't need a headbutt. You don't need a headbutt. Look at it. They're razor sharp. It's like the back of a snapping turtle's head, the neck of a snapping turtle, or like that dinosaur that when it gets really mad, the fins pop out. I saw it on Jurassic Park.
It must be torture for that boy living like that. Hated by people he thinks of as his parents.
Any opinions, thoughts about what's happening so far?
Yeah, I will take an apology of any sorts, whichever way you want to say. Because this episode proves my point about the indoctrination. Thank you very much. A fellow Cardassian. That only happens if you indoctrinate the kid to hate Cardassians.
What if he's a Downsy and he bit him?
Adam.
Drew, did you say something?
Yeah, this a doctor is more a private investigator, seems like, than in his own field. He's the one kind of going back and forth so far and stirring things up.
You think this would be an Odo job? Then
Well, yeah, where's Odo? Oh, he's still in the bucket.
Excuse me, Guldukat.
uh-oh.
Ordered to leave them behind by the civilian leaders.
So who made the decision?
The civilian government, according to Dukat, said leave the orphans behind. And Drew, also to your point, this is clearly not a medical officer doing his job right now.
No, he's jumping all over chain of command, different areas. Yeah, probably a new officer that just came out of their education and their specialty. Even doctors in our military, in the U.S. military, they go and become doctors, and then they take additional training, and then they commission as a second lieutenant, sometimes as a captain, depending on the branch and rank and stuff like that. And but they're very green. They're very fresh on that. You don't just show up late like you came in that elevator, and oh, look who you got on the screen on the communication. Mind if I just jump on? And he didn't even ask, if he can make a question. He just
and you saw Cisco's reaction.
Yep.
And you proceeded to interrupt my conversation. Sorry. Don't apologize. It's been the high point of my day.
Wait, what do you say?
We're going to back it up. Here's where it's backing it up. Hold on.
It's been the high point of my day.
Drew, from your perspective, in real life.
Yeah, he's a doctor. He's got a specialty. He's got a rank. He's got a purpose, and a specialty.
Like an honorary
You gotta
rank?
understand the level of respect, because a commander takes in all of those, different specialties and is able to communicate that to an outside entity, the ship, the guy, whatever, even if it's people they don't, agree with and things like that. You can't have chaos everywhere. It doesn't matter, how close to the flagpole they are. But yeah, you can't, they'll get attacked, eventually.
The proper thing, honestly, would have been for Bashir to walk on ops and say, Commander, may I address something with Gul Dukat? If he would allow him. That would have been the proper thing, as opposed to him bursting on. But of course, we are also dealing with the drama of a science fiction television show. So
yeah, of course. And I try to compare it to other shows, military ones, the Jack Ryan one with
with
John Krasinski and stuff.
Yeah.
So think about it like that. So John Krasinski, if you've seen that one, like he has a specialty, but then he keeps finding himself in these big time meetings and stuff like that. And he'll hold his tongue like a bunch of times, but every once in a while you have to jump in if you believe it's the right thing to do. But that takes knowing exactly objectively, you have evidence, or you're close to it. Think like A Few Good Men. It's like I know the facts. I just got to get him to admit to it. And this guy on the show did not have all of that, and that's why the guy was like, "Do you have evidence? Or you just assuming you're deducting from an eyewitness that might have an axe to grind." So the commander guy did it right.
I'd like to ask Garak about this myself. Have him in my office at 2100 hours.
Yep, good leader. I like these tactics. See, that's called command presence, where you could tell like the people were like watching, listening, if they were within earshot, and then he says what he wants to happen, and then he walks away. He's like, "That's all I got to say. I'm not waiting for your response. I told you what I want to happen. Now I'm walking away. Make it happen." And everybody around it, they're like, "Yep, you could tell that's the leader there."
Gotta remember, Miles hates the spoonheads.
Right.
He's not like that. He's really very gentle.
Gentle was bred out of these Cardassians a long time ago.
Gentle was what?
Gentle was bred out of them a long time ago.
Oh, Brett. Okay. I didn't hear that either till now.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
what a dirty thing to say. What a lie.
And now Keiko's going to be a bitch.
We stop the Asian hate, jeez.
That's not what I meant. There's nothing wrong with being a Cardassian.
Is he gonna lie this whole episode or this whole season?
Who, O'Brien or this kid?
Yeah. No, well, both, but particularly.
I've met some Cardassians I didn't like.
He's lied 6 times in the last 20 seconds.
What?
He's lied 6 times in the last 20 seconds.
I'm actually going to agree with Hitman. Miles is lying.
Wow, oh my God.
Miles hates Cardassians.
Hang on, I gotta check the sky to see if pigs are flying. Hang on.
Have you tried just not being a Cardassian?
Come, Doctor.
Ah! Stranger danger!
Yes!
Garak really doesn't help his first impression of just
No, he does
weirdo.
not.
Oh, no. So Garak creeps in on Bashir, and now holy crap! Look at Cisco's face. What the fuck you doing? Wake me up at this time.
Are we doing this? Are we really doing this?
We've discovered the boy is actually the son of one of our most prominent politicians, Khotan Pedar.
I've been thinking about this, and I think this is a good moment to do it, as with the announcement of the father coming in, the Cardassian father.
Mhm.
I feel like this is an excellent parallel to the TNG episode Suddenly Human.
Oh my God, you're right.
Oh,
Some elaboration is required.
With Chad Lowe.
Yeah. So what happens is the Enterprise comes across a damaged alien vessel.
Talarian.
Talarian, thank you. And in it, they find a human. And they realize, whoa, okay, apparently Talarians had been raiding human colonies, and they took the kid at one point after slaughtering his family. But then he's raised Talarian. And he identifies as being a Talarian more than a human, but then we find out that his grandmother is an active admiral in Starfleet.
Mhm.
Oh,
she wants him back.
yes.
And then it's the conflict. What does the kid want? And there's this whole thing about, oh, he's been abused, but no, he hasn't been abused. That they're just a rough society where the kids go out there and they just beat the crap out of each other,
Yeah.
doing stuff. So
think
it's
like
this whole thing
Spartans.
of different cultural stuff. And his adopted father loves him like a son. But he's starting to feel the pull towards humanity, and there's a lot of Picard interaction. But Picard has to suddenly take care of this teenage kid who's listening to
Picard
his
suddenly
loud-ass
becomes
music.
paternal.
Yeah. So there's some definite compare and contrast with these situations with that episode.
That is an excellent callback, dude. I entirely forgot about that episode, and it's a great episode. Great,
yeah,
episode.
Fantastic.
Episode.
Have you come to take us back to Cardassia?
I'm afraid not, child.
What was that look?
My opinion, it's shame. It's he doesn't want to acknowledge what was done
What would he be shame? Why shame?
because these children were left behind.
Not his fault.
You're saying Khotan Pedar was involved in the decision to evacuate Bajor?
Very good, Doctor. I'm glad to see our little get-togethers haven't gone for naught.
Got to stop there because
Let that
there was a
one
lot
breathe.
going on right there.
Let that one breathe for a moment.
Right, all right, right there. That is full on Garak right there. That is what that is. Get used to that. Right there, that kind of wordplay, the back and forth, the subtle meanings. Garak, as good
Hannibal
as he
Lecter.
is, that's how he talks.
I got Hannibal Lecter vibes. Like, all right,
Yes.
Doctor, now you're playing the game with me now. You know,
That's a good call, dude.
That is.
Yeah, it's a master manipulator.
I am Khotan Pedar. Where's my son?
O'Brien is a really slimy bugger.
What?
He's
What?
a real slimy bugger.
Why do you say that?
He's a shyster. He's disreputable. He's lied this entire episode. He's trying to get under the Cardassian skin. Like he's terrible. He needs to be airlocked out of. He needs to be.
he's trying to play neutral, despite
I'm neutral. You spelled conniving wrong.
Drew, you can't win at this point with him there.
No, but he's lying.
He's informing the guy of the situation.
Well,
is my perspective, even though he probably agrees with the guy at the same time.
And he's trying to
and at
draw
the
out
same
extra
time
information
hates
from
the
him.
guy because he hates Cardassians because he fought against Cardassians and saw what Cardassians did to his fellow crew members. O'Brien fought in the Cardassian Wars and is acknowledged to hate Cardassians.
But he doesn't know if the Bajoran started the whole mess. It was
Talking
one-sided.
about,
No, I'm
I'm
just
talking
saying.
about when Cardassians were fighting the Federation.
Oh, I knew that. I was testing you. You passed.
Oh, thank you. Good job.
Yes, you passed.
I know you almost got me, dude. Thank God I have 40 plus
30.
years of knowledge of Star Trek.
You are a Cardassian butcher. A butcher.
Maybe, you know what? I'm convinced maybe it's not indoctrination. Maybe it's more like MK Ultra with a hint
God.
inside of indoctrination. That boy despises him. He doesn't even recognize him. It's like the Men in Black came in, did the little white
He
thing.
was 4.
Okay, if he was 4, then how old is he supposed to be right now?
Probably like 13 or 14.
I would say 14.
Commander, can I ask a few questions?
Okay, that's how you address when you come in. Uninvited.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at it right there. Look at that right there. That is a I know your game face. I got you. And that right there in that frame. This is a great job because in this frame, you can tell there's history. You can tell there's history between these characters. It's great show don't tell. You look at Garak's like that is the look of a guy who is so pleased that he just got one over on somebody that he despises.
Named Jomat Luzon.
No.
Wait, he just got more. That smile just grew.
That is the shittiest of shit-eating grins right there.
Hold on. Wait, what? Garak?
Look at that. This is a man that has quite clearly he knows he's pushed him in the right direction, and he's just watching it all play out and enjoying the shit out of it.
Shit-eating grin. Jesus.
What is he? Why is he smiling on? What does he know?
Everything.
Does he have diarrhea? Did he poop his pants? That's a poop smile.
What?
He's a Cardassian.
I know.
There is. Oh God. Now my mind is going in.
Why is he smiling like that? What does he know?
He knows everything.
Truth, Doctor, is in the eye of the beholder.
He's like a super villain. That's just plain and simple. He just loves doing this, doesn't he?
So that was Cardassians. A lot of conversation this episode.
Indeed.
Drew, since you are our new person and learning more and more about Star Trek, hopefully this got you a little more interested. What general impressions of this episode?
Yeah, I like the dialogue between each one. There's hidden, there's subtle kind of what's going on. Yeah, it was a lot of just, okay, let's look back, whatever it was, 8 years. The effects of those things are having an impact currently right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked it a lot of subterfuge.
Is there any character that you thought this episode highlighted?
Yeah, I mean, just the Taylor guy, like he just jumped out as, there's so much more going on, and he's willing to play the long game.
And like Adam and I said, I think this is the first time he was back. He was in a couple episodes, but this first time he's back for season 2. And anything else about impressions, like the overall story? Because
it's like the intrigue kind of back and forth. You get the history, you get politics, you get the different factions. Yeah.
Knowing what you know about Star Trek, is this what you would expect from a Star Trek show?
No, it's I like you said, the more character driven, trying to understand where everyone's coming from. Maybe I'm just at that age now where it's like that's more intriguing than just the episodic. Yeah.
As we always do, we ask Hitman, would you like to go first? And he goes, I'll defer to Fractured.
Thank you.
Okay. Some of the main thoughts when it comes to this episode is it feels I know Julian has come into his own and everything, and especially after he got to play Die Hard, going through the vents and then capturing some people and during the whole circle debacle and all that stuff. He's got a new place, it seems, but I felt like this would have been more of an Odo story, doing all the investigations and stuff like that. However, thanks to Garak, it really plays itself very well, and just the way he was playing the puppet master of everything and leading Bashir along. Because it basically got started from the get, because he recognized the kid as soon as he saw him, at least to a certain extent. I'm thinking. He said he didn't, but anyways, I think their dynamic was really intriguing and just so enjoyable to watch. Like I said, again, just that him just kind of, as he said, there's breadcrumbs everywhere. He just takes your perspective to catch it. So that at least that was what definitely brought out more from Bashir being the one being Mr. Investigator. But part of me is like, this would have been maybe a little more interesting with Odo, just because I also like that character.
This was a very Starfleet light episode. In fact, Bajoran military light. It was literally just Bashir and Garak with Cisco there to kind of direct the narrative.
Yeah.
We saw Dax a little bit in the beginning, saw Kira a little bit in the beginning, we saw Odo a little bit in the beginning, and then I guess they had the week off.
I guess so, because you would have thought with the whole the Cardassian children being left behind, that even Kira might have had a bit to say with the whole from the old occupation and stuff, and abandoned children and everything. So, but no, she just kind of, like you said, took the week off. She got vacation time. But yeah, overall, it was a good. I thought it was just good, great episode.
Hitman.
They should have named this episode not Cardassians, but just propaganda. All propaganda, indoctrination, Miles, any minute integrity this guy had, he farted away this episode. Full of lies, deceit, kind of like my ex-wife. Absolutely just a shyster. Like if you were to look up the word shyster in Webster Dictionary, I'm pretty positive after this episode his name would be. But in all seriousness, Miles is a POS. And I go ahead.
Besides just like denigrating other characters, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was really good. Here's the thing. Everybody, probably besides Ensign, the outstanding vet, our phenomenal guest tonight. I'm a huge TNG guy. I love TNG. I've told you guys this from the get-go. But one thing that I'm learning about DS9 is the dialogue, and we were discussing earlier, like you have to work for it. Like you can watch an episode of TNG and may not, you can watch an episode, maybe you don't pay attention fully, but it doesn't affect the next episode unless it's unless it's like a two-parter, right? This DS9, it's like you really have to pay attention, and you have to kind of like, you're not having to like necessarily like guess like if you watch Disney trash, but just have to pay attention, and it flows, and it just the dialogue's much deeper, I would say, on a level I don't think I've ever experienced within TNG before. So Garak he's an interesting character. I can't put my finger on it. He, in all seriousness, it seems like he knows things that he maybe shouldn't know, or people wouldn't think he knows. Bashir just out. He just outstepped his rank. I think he's stick with the medicine. Don't try to this whole arbitration. Just brouhaha from the whole child thing and whatnot. And so I think it was a good episode. It's another episode that we just paint Cardassians as these they're the fascist, occupational, brutal killing force.
Yeah, ironically, the shoe fits. Adam, overall opinions.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, well, I mean, overall opinions. This episode is the beginning of witnessing, as we've been saying, characters emerging. I brought it up that this is the first time we've seen Garak in a long time. And the last time we saw him, it was kind of a flirtive dance with what they kind of thought they wanted to do with Garak. I don't think they were sure season 1. Oh, we've got this expatriate Cardassian on the station. He's a tailor. He's more than he seems. And right what we got here, this is fully flushed out Garak. This is exactly the Garak we're going to get for the next 6 seasons. We know this is a character they've realized that he's fully in this episode. Garak is fully realized with the intrigue. You've heard our neophyte guys here. They're saying their questions. What is this guy? What's he doing? What's his game? What do you know his war? This is exactly what you get from Garak. And will we get answers? Maybe. Will we get complete answers? Probably not. But what we're going to get is this outstanding portrayal of a unique kind of character we've never quite seen before in Star Trek. You've never had something quite like Garak up until this point. Someone who you think is a friend, but you're not going to trust him. You're feeling, yeah, Garak will stab you in the back. I'm thinking forward to a couple of outstanding episodes, Garak-centric, Garak-related down the road.
Also, the unique relationship between Garak and Dr. Bashir.
That was my next thing. This is now the thing. This is one of those things. And you notice there's a lot of things with Julian. It's always Julian paired with somebody. You got Julian Miles, you've got Julian Garak, you've got Julian Dax. Julian is paired with people to, in the beginning, at the very least, flush him out, bring him out, make him more of an exciting character. Because let's be honest, they're still figuring out what to do with Julian at this point. They're not quite sure. So they're pairing with characters who, in Miles' case, Chief Miles O'Brien, he's established. We got that. Terry Farrell, Dax, super hot chick. We can pair them. It's very easy. Have them flirt a lot. And now let's pair them with a brand new character to Garak. And at this point, they have figured out Garak. This is exactly the Garak you're going to get, and it only gets better. So that is the best thing this episode. It's Garak all day long, and that's why I was enjoying this, because I know what I'm watching here. This is the DS9 and I know for just Garak right there. And that moment in the hearing when I spotted it, and I would go back, look at it, and we were all laughing about it. That is Garak. It's like, yes, I got you, you son of a bitch.
This is a really good episode for several things. First off, it gave you a little bit of lore about Cardassia.
Yep.
How Cardassia operates, the civilian and military governments, how Cardassians view their children, and really, Adam said, it shows you who Garak is. This is, in my opinion, them planting the seed and seeing if it's going to work. Garak is a much more significant player later on. Not a spoiler alert, because we've already said that many characters become much more bigger players. But this is laying the groundwork for Garak. And also, it's a groundwork for Bashir and Garak's relationship. When they sit down and talk with each other, you haven't seen it, but they've been doing this. Like, they're sitting there having their tea or lunch together. And, Bashir's like, we do this all the time. You never say anything. It's like, well, that's part of the game, Doctor. So, they're developing this weird relationship. And it's going to continue, and it's going to be really good. But this is them. This is again where we're starting to lay the groundwork for an overarching story for characters, for stories, which will continue. This is really a one-off episode, though, for me. And I said a couple times, Planet of the Week, Monster of the Week. This is really that, but it throws in some elements that will become important later on. I think this episode is more serving story than character. We get character elements, but it's overall laying groundwork for things which will happen later on.
I mean, it'd be good to kind of see like where these storylines go that are connected back to this episode. And you're talking about, the commander, the captain, the lead guy on there. He's probably learning a lot from all these interactions. You don't learn when you're directing people and commanding everything that's going on. There's a time and a place for that. But you could tell he was learning about the different, factions and stuff. So you got to take a step back to let things play out, but then still know that, hey, I'm the one in command here.
Drew, do you remember in the notes and summary I sent you that Ben Sisko was a father?
Yep. And they did mention in the show too.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that was really not addressed.
It was brought up.
Yeah, it was brought up, but it was interesting to me.
Maybe he didn't want to give details. He didn't want it to influence, his specific situation in a poor way for one side or the other. It's good to have that perspective. Be like, yep, I have that perspective, but I'm not going to let my history, drama, whatever, what I have dealt with or currently dealing with impact this current decision that I need to be as objective as I can.
Now, of course, I'm not approaching it from a military perspective because I've never served, but as a story perspective and knowing the relationship between Ben and his son, Jake, I find it interesting. And I don't know if any of the people who've watched the show so far, like Jake never was even mentioned by name.
No.
And I understand what Drew, I understand completely what Drew's saying, because Drew's coming at it from a military perspective, and I completely appreciate that. But from the story perspective, I found it odd that Jake wasn't even brought up. And I wonder if he's just to not convolute things. Maybe that's what it was.
And I don't know why it says like this. I'm on IMDb, but it says Jake Sisko credit only. So he's in there in the episode, but he's not in.
He wasn't in the. He physically was not in the episode.
Right.
Yeah. They mentioned him.
Okay.
The actor's name is Surik Lofton. And Ben is if you remember from the notes, Ben's wife was killed in the Battle Wolf through 5-9 with the Borg. So he's raising his son alone. So that's the dynamic of a commanding officer also raising his son alone. And they have in my opinion, a really great relationship, which is something you don't see these days on modern TV. It's a really good father-son relationship. And I'm surprised they didn't bring it up. They brought up O'Brien having his daughter, but they didn't bring up, other than saying, oh, you got a son too. It's interesting that they didn't focus on that. Maybe just would have convoluted the story so much. I don't know if anyone agrees with me or not, but that's my point. Otherwise, does anyone have anything else to say about this episode? Before we go,
Brian.
I know you don't.
That's it.
Otherwise, should we go to Quark's bar and play some Dabo?
Oh yes.
Let's throw that Latinum.
Dabo.
Give her a spin. One time on the house.
Let's let our guest throw his bars of Latinum first. On a scale of 1 to 10 bars of Latinum, how would you rate this episode? And again, understanding that you are not as versed as all of us, but just overall for this episode, how would you rate this on 1 to 10?
Yeah, I gotta go kind of middle of. I mean, I was impressed. I just don't have anything compared to. I didn't hate anything for sure either. 7.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, I liked it, but I'm sure there could be better. But
Okay.
I haven't seen that yet, so I'm gonna go with 7.
Fractured Hitman. Who wants to throw bars first?
Fractured.
I was good. I was gonna throw down the same. I'm gonna throw down 7.
Okay. Hitman, how many bars you got for this episode?
I'll go 7. It's not
7.
quite duet level perfection, but I did like it. Yeah.
Okay. Adam?
I'm giving it an 8. I'm putting on 8 bars.
Wow.
Oh,
because of Garak.
Garak.
Wow.
Garak was a very big selling point. I almost went there myself, but I'm like, I'm gonna mediate this a little bit myself.
This is the Garak I know and enjoy. So
okay.
It's nice to see things that I'm familiar with.
Wow.
And getting into those waters again.
Great character interactions. That's what's driving that for me for that 8. I enjoy it. It builds up. It ramps up. It's just it feels good. It just feels
okay. I'm going to be the rest of the panel and go with a 7. And I'm surprised because originally I was thinking a 6, but watching it again, I'm like, there's a lot of good in this episode. This is a solid episode. This is a solid story episode. So I'm going with a 7. Going with a 7.
All right.
So yes, that is 5th episode of season 2, Star Trek DS9. Drew, the Oustanding Vet, please tell us who you are and we can find you. Where can we find you, dude?
Yep, I'm beefing up my channel right now, Operation Outstanding in Field. I think I have like 270 followers, so I'm really trying to get to 300, and then 500 is what I'm going to put as much effort as I can in the next couple weeks, months, decades, however long it takes. But yeah, that's where I'm spending my time, breaking down adaptive sports, speaking engagements, and really just going through some wild hell of a life kind of shit that we all go through at one time or another. And then how do we pull ourselves out of that hell? And so, yeah, Operation Outstanding in Field on YouTube.
Nice.
Of course, you can find the rest of us on our links down below. Drew, thank you so much for showing up, being our first guest, and hopefully this gets you interested in going and watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine, because that's the whole purpose of the show, to make people interested and want to go watch it. We will be back next week for another episode. It's an episode. Otherwise, questions, comments, witticism down below. Click all the good buttons. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.